Cue. Hello, my name is Léah Kline. This is my model student, Adelheid. And together we're going to make this video to discuss downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Personally, I think the downward facing dog is one of the most difficult poses because of the fact that it requires every joint to be in balance. So Adelheid has agreed to be my model so we can work on all the little pieces. I'm going to show you in, I think, around 15 minutes how we can work on the pieces that make for downward dog. For teachers, I'm also going to show you some nice adjustments to help your students get deeper into these poses. Yeah? You ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So come onto your hands and knees. So one of the most important things about downward facing dog is understanding that we have to hold the pelvis and hold the shoulders. So we're just going to warm up the back. So I'd like you to take cow pose. I'd like you to allow yourself to drop down and arch and try to pull the belly. Inhale deep. And then press down into the ground and round the body. This teaches us the movements of the becken, of the pelvis, right? And just on your own, moving back and forth. And we don't want to hang. We want to try to stretch the belly, but also to move the sit bones up and back. And around on the exhale. And if you want to move, you guys are watching this video slower or faster, that's fine. Just make sure you start to feel what's going on inside the spine and the belly. Nice. One thing also is we want to feel softness at the heart, the back of the heart. Nice. She's breathing really well, right? Nice and slow. As the back starts to get warmed up, we want to pay attention to the hands. We want every knuckle pressing into the mat so that we feel grounded with the earth. Nice. And move back into child's pose. Let the big toes touch each other and let the knees support your rib cage and just stretch out. This also teaches us to stretch the latissimus dorsi, which is this area. And a lot of us, we have a tendency to have the hands too close together and it gets really crowded in the shoulder. So I'm going to ask you to come onto your fingertips. She's doing a great job there. And just lift the elbow, lift the tricep. And if for you guys it's not even possible, we can actually even place a block underneath the forehead. Lift your forehead a little bit. And then this way we can start to learn to soften at the back of the heart, at the back of the rib cage. It's also where a lot of the bra straps are. Good. This is the most interesting thing is to not, can you show us Adelheid hanging down in the shoulders? Right. So a lot of times we hang down, this collapses, this rounds, and that this is out. Right. So we want to lift up and feel the upward energy. And again, if you want to use the block, that's going to help you a lot, right? Good. So relax your hands down and come up to sitting, right? Take a moment and feel how it feels. Let your arms relax and just dangle down, right? Good. So one thing we're going to do is if you just face forward a little bit, and let's just discuss the rotation of the arms, right? So place the hands fully on the mat, and just, you can walk your knees back a little bit. Mm-hmm. Just want you to understand the mechanics of you or your student's arms. So there are two bones here, and they rotate open and closed. And there's one here, and that rotates also open. So a straight arm is a balance of spirals. When you look down at your hand, really make sure that this crease is even. If you roll the arm too far open, you can see there's more creases on one side than the other, right? So you want to have an internal rotation of the underarm, an external rotation of the upper arm, like this. And then this is what allows you to create this energy, right? Just enough energy in the fingertips. Now I'm going to try to pick your fingers off, and you're not going to let them come off. Yeah, press them down. Yeah, press them down. Yeah, press them down. Good. What this does is it activates the arm muscle, right? So we got the other one. If you're hyperextended, it's a bit tricky to find that balance. So we're going to rotate the upper arm and hold that and rotate the underarm even more, even more, even more, even more. Good, breathe until we find a steady balance. So this is what we're going to need for downward dog. Good. And relax. Good. So let's come back to sitting. If the fold is too much, you might get pain. So we're going to do the motorcycle stretch. A little bit of humor is always good in your yoga class, right? So you're going to actually just place your hand here and stretch, right? So that we get some space here, right? You can then open the hand and stretch it like this. Good, breathe. And we're going to try to keep the shoulder down. And there's always some room for delight in our yoga practice. Good, and release. So now we're going to go to the wall and work on the leg part, just so that we understand what's going on with downward dog. Actually, before we do that, just show them downward dog for those of you watching this video for the first time. This pose is the one we're going to be working towards, tucking the toes under and lifting the hips up and back. So downward dog is needing this diagonal line here from the wrist to the sit bones, right? What often happens, let's show them idle height, hanging, pulling the chin forward. This creates a lot of pressure in the shoulders, very uncomfortable, and even a lot of people will get pain here. So we're going to go to the wall, and we're going to show how that works. You ready? Yeah. Jump to the front. Good. So we're going to take the mat to the wall, right? Good. So I'd like you to just bring your fingertips on the walls, right? And again, we're going to work on this thing that we were talking about and just stretch your arms straight out in front of you. Walk back till the arms are straight. Pause. Good. So we're going to have this twisting down of the tricep muscles, right? And a lifting up of the chest. Really nice. Good. Take a deep breath in and stick your bum out and walk back until your body comes parallel to the floor. Good. Right. Breathe. This rotating down of the tricep muscle kind of closes the armpit. Right. Breathe. Of course, when we reach the arms, we have a tendency to squeeze the shoulders, so I'm going to ask you to move the shoulders. Good. And can you show us pushing forward in the armpit? Right. You can see this popping out, right? And now suck the armpit back and rotate the tricep down. Good. So this takes a lot of work, but it's really good. It's worth it. Breathe. Now going to the back of the body, we're trying to build a straight line, which she really has here. A little bit she could soften her heart without dropping the head. Good. And those of you who have this really difficult, this is nice to try to get the sit bones back. You can even bend your knees and try to get the schaambeen to cancel back. Yeah, because that's the energy we want to do with the downward facing dog. Good. How does that feel?
Great.
Great. She says great. It feels great. Good. And then from your core, come back up to standing. Good. Nice. And then we're going to go back to the yoga practice, right? Here. So, good. So let's come to the front of the mat. Take a little, circle the arms up to the sky. Breathe in deep. Here we're also going to really engage the core. It looks good. Not too much tucking under. Just lift and lift your head. Good. Open your arms wide and take a forward bend. Now, if you have really tight hamstrings, bend your knees and pause here for a second. And just try to get the sit bones to be the highest part, right? This will allow you to stretch the hamstrings, which in downward dog you're going to need to do. Breathe. And again, you can practice rolling those elbows in and placing the whole hand on the ground. If this is not possible, don't worry about it. Try to get the sit bones to lift up. Now, teachers, you can place your hand here and try to help them lift up from here. A lot of students just try to lock their knees back, but we want to have them lift the sit bones up. Good. Take your right foot back into a lunge. Breathing. Nice. Now this is also going to help you try to stretch the groin area. And even here, I'd like you, Adelheid, to try to stick the bum out more. So try to stick the sit bone up and back. Yeah, nice. This energy is going to help you find what you need in downward dog. Good. Lengthen through the spine. Good. And step the back foot forward again and switch legs, right? A lot of what we do when we step back, especially for tight, is we pull that sit bone down, but we want to try to move the sit bone back. So we want to stick that bum back and feel a stretch through the leg. Good. Place your fingers on the ground and step into downward dog. Good. Now, also one other thing that happens with downward dog is the distance between hands and feet is a little bit too close or too far. So we measure downward dog from high plank. So if you'll come to high plank, good. Walk your feet back. So we want to first find a big distance to reach from, right? Good. Now, without moving your hands and feet, lift up from the sit bone, push the groin backwards, and pause. Most of us, we go way too far, right? So this is really nice to lift the ears up first. We want to have this feeling that we're bringing the arms by the slapping. Good. And here now, we're going to go here, and we're going to rotate the arms this way and lift them up. Good. Now I'm going to hold my hands here. Teachers, this is a nice adjustment. Round and lift your hips up and back without pressing into my hands. Good. So we really working the energy up and back. Take your right leg up to the sky and try not to collapse here. Good. Push that energy up and back. Bring your knee into your chest and step forward to the front of your mat. Good. And again, work the groin backwards. It's going to help you with downward dog. Step your back foot forward. Look forward. And exhale, forward bend. Come gently as you like up to standing, reaching the arms over your head. Breathe deeply, making sure we stay soft in the front. Look up, enjoy reaching to the sky, and arms by your side for Tadasana. Good. She's working very hard. And inhale, lift arms up again, a little bit more freedom. And forward bending from the hips. Good. Try not to hang back. Again, those of you with really tight hamstrings, bend your knees so that this is the highest point. Right? Breathe. Practice pressing your hands into the mat. Good. Step now your right foot back and your left foot back into downward facing dog. Breathe deeply. Good. Nice. So again, let's show them what happens normally. We hang, we press, and we pull with our face. And you want to actually lift like a volcano. Have this feeling that it's lifting up in all directions. Nice. Good. Take your left leg up to the sky. Breathe, and we try to keep this lifted as we do that. Nice. Curl the knee into the chest. Step forward between the hands. Rise up on your fingertips, and while you do that, try to move the groin backwards. Very good. Nice. Step your back foot forward. Uttanasana. Lift and exhale, bend. Good. Place the hands, roll the elbows. Again, if you have tight hamstrings, lightly bend your knees. Keep the belly intact and pull from your core down. Coming through chair pose, Utkatasana, bend the knees and reach the arms forward. Good. You could stick out a little bit more. Nice. Good. And press the ground. Come up to standing. Press down in the feet, lifting up and release. Exhale. Good. Try not to tuck. Yeah. Now we're going to go into downward facing dog. Just come into down dog. And I'm just going to show you one little adjustment for if it's difficult in the hips, right? So can you do like as if you had tight hamstrings, right? So really pull down. Right? So if your student has difficulty getting the energy back this way, you bring this belt right in line with the thigh, not here at the belly. So you're going to bring the belt here. And this is what we teach in these adjustment workshops. You're going to nice wide stance here. And what you're going to do is you're going to try to help. I'm also going to use my own shoulders to pull back. Now her job is when I give her that space, she doesn't collapse. So show them what it's like when you collapse, right? So I'm going to give you that space and drop your chest down. A lot of people, they just drop their chest down, right? So it's a combination of pulling back and lifting, right? Another option, good. Come a little bit more forward to your hands. If students, and bend your elbows a little bit, because how many of you recognize this, right? So another option is to place your hands on the side of the pelvis and stretch them up and back. Then there's an opportunity here to lift the arms and make sure you keep this supported. Relax the neck. So we dangle the neck, rotating, good. Come onto your knees. And take child's pose. And if your arms are tired here, you can take traditional child's pose. So that would be bringing the arms back behind you and letting this flow over. Here's a nice little adjustment to help stretch the spine. You can place the heel of one hand right at the bra strap and the other here. Take a deep breath in and stretch. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I hope you have some fun with your downward facing dog.